all about deep core and pelvic floor engagement. This is going to be a fantastic class if you are pregnant, if you are postpartum, if you're just not really feeling like you're getting super deep into your abdominals when you do your abdominal work. We're going to slow it down and we're going to really focus on how to engage into the deep core so that when you do go into that abdominal work, you're really activating correctly. So that way you're really working in a way that's going to be effective for you. So I encourage you to get something like a block. So if you don't have a yoga block, that's totally fine. A couch, like throw pillow, will work, especially if you fold it in half, or a beach towel rolled up. Anything that'll give you a little bit of resistance, you're going to put it between your inner thighs. If you're pregnant, or there's any reason you don't want to be on your back, I want you to come to sit up against a wall. Knees are going to be bent, and you're going to bring that block or whatever equivalent to a block you have between your thighs. If you're okay on your back, join me there. Lay on back, and again, your block, or whatever you have, I'm going to go ahead and refer to it as a block. Even if yours is a towel, you'll know what I'm talking about. You're going to bring it between your inner thighs. Bend the knees, bring the feet to hips distance. So we're going to start by just talking about really activating. When you take an inhale, your pelvic floor actually is designed to relax because it's connected to the diaphragm. On the inhale, the diaphragm pulls down, the pelvic floor should also pull down. On the exhales, when you want to get that really deep engagement, the diaphragm draws up, the pelvic floor should also elevate or up towards the belly button. So start by finding neutral. Rib cage is soft down into the mat. Pelvis is neutral, so the pubic bone and the hip bones are in one plane. You're not tipping the pubic bone up or tipping the hip bones up. You're right in neutral. And just take a big inhale and feel yourself lengthen and soften. Now as you exhale, allow your pelvic floor to draw up, up, up towards the belly button. Keep that, we're gonna add on. Inhale, lengthen and soften. Exhale, squeeze the block. You're going to feel the inner thighs engage, and you're going to start to feel a little bit more engagement in the pelvic floor. Inhale, really lengthen and soften. Exhale, squeeze the block. And now add a squeeze in on the sit bones. So there's two bony points that you sit on the bottom of your tush. Squeeze those in as you exhale. Inhale, lengthen, soften. Keep that layer on. Exhale, squeeze the block. Squeeze your sit bones in, and then allow your hip points on the front side of your body to wrap in towards center. Now you're really getting deep into the transverse abdominis. You might hear it referred to as a TA, just a transverse abdominis. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze the block. Squeeze your sit bones. Wrap your hip points in, last layer, hug the rib cage in, and draw it down. That's a really deep engagement. Inhale, lengthen, release it all. So all of those things are where you want to go when you're doing abdominal work. You could spend this whole class just focused on that inhale, lengthen, exhale, engage. Now, if you're really not sure about the inhale lengthen, I will take you there at the very end of class. We'll do a nice pelvic floor release, okay? But focus first on that big, deep engagement. One more time without changing anything. Let's just be in this beautiful, stable position, whether you're seated or laying down. Inhale, lengthen, find neutral. Exhale, squeeze the block. Squeeze the sits bones. Hug the hip points in. Wrap the rib cage in. Exhale as you do that. So you're feeling, again, the low belly is engaged. So that is that deep layer of abdominals that wraps around you really like a corset. And that's what gives you stability. That's what gives you posture. That's really what supports your body and where you want to find your focus. Keep working with all of those ideas. We're just going to make this a little more challenging. If this is what works for you, then please stay here. Inhale, lengthen, and come up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, squeeze the block, squeeze the sit bones, and float the legs up to a tabletop. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze the block, squeeze the sit bones, hug the hip points in. hug the ribcage down. Do it again, inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Lift that pelvic floor, feel the low belly engage. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze, lift, engage. Now you can stay right here. This might be a great place to be. If you want to take this a little deeper, inhale. Exhale, lower both legs down towards the mat. Inhale, lift. Now, if you are pregnant, keep going with that. I'm sorry, that sounded totally wrong. Keep going with this unless you're pregnant. If you are pregnant, I want you to either stay right here with the knees over the hips, or I want you to go ahead and bring your feet back down to the mat. If you're doing this entire series seated because you get dizzy or whatever reason, you can do all that we're doing here. I just want you lifting one leg up and lowering it down. And then you'll switch, lifting the other leg up and lowering it down. Keep going here and really focus. Inhale in. Exhale, squeeze, 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 lift, 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 and then notice how your rib cage really wants to lift. Hug the rib cage down, down, down as you lift the pelvic floor up and lower your legs. You have two more like that. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Now I want you to exhale, lower, and hold it. If you're seated, you could play with trying to lift both legs up. If both legs don't lift, that's okay. The energy is there to lift the legs. If you're with me here, squeeze your block. Squeeze your sit bones in. And then just allow yourself to hug the low belly down and press the legs out 1 inch. Go. 8, 7, 6. Relax your shoulders. Go 4, 3, 2. Allow your inhale to bring your feet down onto the mat. We're going to prop ourselves up here onto our forearms. If you're pregnant and showing, I want you to roll to your side, press yourself up, and come to that left forearm, and then open that right forearm. I know it's not the most graceful, but you do really want to avoid when you're pregnant curling straight up or curling straight down. That's just going to really exacerbate diastasis recti if you have the start of that, okay? Inhale, lift the chest. Now I want you to stay really lifted here in the chest throughout this entire exercise. As you exhale, re-engage, squeeze the block. Squeeze your sit bones in. Hug your hip points in, and now feel your rib cage draw in and down, but your chest stays nice and broad and open, okay? Inhale, lift up to the heels. Exhale, squeeze the block, squeeze the sit bones, hug the rib cage in and down, and allow the toes to float up. You were just right here. Now from here, I want you just to squeeze the block, hold it. Go squeeze the block, hold. Go squeeze the block, hold. Now what I love about this position is that you have a little bit more support, a little bit more softness for the neck and the shoulders, because I don't know about you guys, but I get really burned out when I am curling up. But you can also look at your belly. It's really effective here to look down at the abdominals and see what they're doing. If you have a tendency to puff up through the abdominal wall, watch yourself here and really focus on using your exhale to pull the hip bones in, to pull the rib cage in and down, and to squeeze the sit bones together. So you find that deep engagement, allowing yourself to draw the abdominals down. You have 4, 3, 2, hold the squeeze on the block. Inhale, roll the shoulders from the ears, lift the chest. Exhale, lower the toes down toward the mat. And lift them up. I know you already did this. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. This is just a slightly different position for the spine. It's going to work your abdominals a little bit different way. And if you are pregnant and showing, I know that it can get a little overwhelming. What variations do I do? What can I do here? These are both great options. Really safe, really effective. If it's too much with the feet lifted, please lower your feet. Squeeze the block. You could always take the block out and extend one leg. Focus on pulling the outside in. 4 more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, curl up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Last one, exhale, lower. Now hold that lift. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the draw the inner thighs in. Soften the shoulders. Take one more big breath in, inhale. As you exhale, I want to challenge you. Could you extend your legs here? Squeeze in. Inhale, last time. Exhale, squeeze the sit bones, squeeze the block. Hip bones draw in, rib cage draws in. Heart lifts 4, 3, 2. Feet down to the mat. Bring yourself all the way up to a seated position. Again, either roll to your side or use your hands for a lot of support if you're pregnant. Awesome engaging work. Just as important to release the pelvic floor as well, especially if you're pregnant. So, my favorite release for pelvic floor, you're gonna find your hands on the ground or the mat, and you're gonna bring your feet about hips distance, turning the toes out slightly. So this is a yogi squat or a malasana in yoga, I do believe. You can let your elbows come to your inner thighs. Your hands can be a prayer, they can be open, whatever you need. But this position is a really great way to release the pelvic floor. So again, it's that inhale that's gonna release. So when you take a big inhale, I want you to imagine you're trying to push out P. Inhale. And then exhale, just soften. Your pelvic floor is gonna lift up. Do it again. Inhale, release, let the pelvic floor draw down to the mat. Exhale, soften, your pelvic floor will draw up gently. 2 more, you can always close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, that big inhale releases the pelvic floor. Exhale. This is a great position just to hang out in if you're feeling like your pelvic floor is not fully functioning the way you want it to be. It could very easily be that you're not able to fully release. Remember, a truly strong muscle can both fully engage and fully release. So as you go through whatever you're going through, whether you're finding a little more engagement in your core, or if you are pregnant and you're really trying to work through what that means for your body, I really encourage deep core, pelvic floor, full engage, full release. Questions, feedback, please let me know anytime. I notice I'm still in my malasana. That's okay. I hope you have a great day.